Welcome to the Tucson NetworKings podcast. I'm your host, Gordy Seward, along with master networker and sales guru, Don Zavis. Together, we talk about how to get the most of your business networking in Southern Arizona. We'll discuss tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, with some amazing people that know how to build lasting business relationships from this thing called business networking. So strap in and enjoy the show. Welcome to Tucson Networking Podcast. We have with us today our networking royalty, our networking queen here, Ellison Turner.
Every time.
I almost said Allison.
I know, it's okay.
Ellison
it's fine.
Turner.
It's great.
She's this is the third co-host or
Thank
third
you.
podcast she's co-hosted with us.
Thank you.
And
Great to be here.
Ellison, we're thankful that you are here. Even though this is going to probably broadcast down the line, but our normal host Don had a death in the family, and our condolences go out to the Zabastowski family. So, our guest today is a returning guest. This is episode 12. Michael Jesse from the Curiosity Center. He was on episode 8. It was a phenomenal episode. Don's going to kill me for having him on while he's gone. So, Don, you can get after me later on this one. And we might, who knows, maybe we'll have you out for part 3, depending upon how much time we have. So, but Michael Jesse, part 3 is the name of this episode. I'm sorry, part 2 is the name of this episode. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I consider this guy another mastermind in Tucson. We've had several very intelligent people here. And so, again, episode 8, if you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend going back and listening or watching episode 8. It's a phenomenal episode, some great material. We have discussed how to organically start your own networking event. Basically, you don't. Your philosophy is don't go into it to find clients. Go into it to find referral partners.
Yes.
I like that. That kind of changed my perspective as well. The one tip that I have successfully used already since sitting down with you a couple weeks ago was have a targeted group at your event.
Yes.
So make it worth your while and have a targeted group. Don't just shotgun it and get everybody in there and try to target it. Yeah. We talked about how to promote it, the importance of pre-planning it through email, social media, all the different types of social media from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Alignable was a big highlight. And then also the phone, just call someone up and invite them. I like that. I've used that tip as well. So very good tips there. And then the third tip we talked about, make it beneficial for those invited.
Right.
And we're going to focus just a little bit more on that. So basically my question, and I think Don would probably ask the next question is, what are the next steps? Do you talk about venue? Do you work out day and times? Or what's the next steps? Now obviously you would have had your venue already picked, but we kind of skipped over that. So
it depends. So if you're starting to notice where events can be either in person or now virtual, there's a lot of people who are liking the virtual.
Okay.
One, that you don't have to travel, but sometimes your partners that you want to have aren't local either.
okay.
So Tucson's been interesting because I've only been here 4 years, but I have met so many people who come and then go. So, but I'm still connected with a lot of them. So what you're looking for is the community. Is it an in-person community? Then obviously having a venue, something nice and simple that everyone has space to talk and move around. That's another one. I've been to events where it's been in a small room, kind of similar to like this studio, and cramming 50 people in it is hard. So also look at how many people are you going to bring?
Okay.
Be very conscious. Is it 3? Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 150?
Okay.
Take a look at that. The virtuals, I like the virtuals.
Okay.
The reason I like the virtuals is, again, the people who I'm trying to work with are virtual anyway. These are digital marketers. These are bankers. These are staffing companies. So a lot of it for me, working a virtual networking event is great.
Interesting. I like that. I'm going to take that dip and run with that one. Ellison, do you have any questions for him?
Not at the moment. I think virtual is definitely the way to go. I'm not always a fan of just Zoom, so I think I like helping people see how to keep their minds open about what platforms are great for them and why that integration is important. And it's a really big, important part of the community development work I do. So I can't speak highly enough about virtual because, at least in video games, it takes it from being simply local to being international. And there's all this beautiful stuff that comes from having such an open door like that. So I think it can be really specific, like you said, with niches and people, but depending on what platform, you can grow exponentially a lot faster. Kind of like TikTok,
I like
it.
You've talked me into it. I was never really a fan. I always preferred in person, but I can see where you're coming from. Some of the people, you got your big decision makers. Yeah, you got a lot of salespeople out there. Yeah, I'll come and they got time. That's their job, marketing and to get out there. But when the people you really the decision makers, a lot of them are too busy to go out to an event and get out to an event. How about a day and time? What's your thoughts on that?
That's hard because even with your list, you've noticed they're everywhere and they're all different times. Where I'm noticing, because my focus is on business owners, weekends and nights. That's all I have. They're going to be busy all day doing their thing. Okay. So I have to shift towards more of an evening weekend. However, depending on who you're trying to bring, is it, again, let's look at the home services group. Anytime, because they're 24/7 anyway. Right. So it's kind of saying like, well, is there a particular time that works for them? That's hard, right? I've noticed that the challenge is always Fridays and Mondays because everyone likes Fridays and Mondays. Yeah. It's the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays that's really hard.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. That's a great tip. We're going to be right back with the brain, Michael Jesse, from the Curiosity Center. The Tucson NetworKings podcast is in search of a full-time sponsor. Let me tell you what's included. You get 3 episodes per month, 3 commercials per episode, including logo and professional voiceover message, 1 mention on the actual podcast with some witty banter, and your business name will be added to the sponsored by title on every podcast format. If you'd like to take advantage of this awesome opportunity, contact Gordy at 520-329-2923 or TucsonNetworkKings@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Tucson NetworKings podcast. We're here with Gordy and our friend Michael Jesse. And take it away, Gordy.
All right. We're picking your brain some more here. Hopefully you got something left by the time we scratch all the stuff out of there. So you mentioned in the previous podcast about making it beneficial for those invited. So what are your thoughts on that? Is this something you want to make educational? Do you have a feature presenter or what, how would you run a networking event?
Great question. So here's how I even designed my own.
Okay.
Because I know who's going to be there, I already know the 4 other people this person should know. I already know ahead of time that I know your digital marketing. So I'm going to use Manny Gomez as an example because he's a great one. His digital marketing is mostly focused on Facebook ads. But now what if he got connected with someone who's in the psychology of marketing, who they can help that business owner get their messaging positioning better? Oh, by the way, now that you're working with Manny, he can see how that can be promoted better through the Facebook ads. So again, I look at it from the point of view of how can you connect with your strategic partners better? Who should you be introduced to? And how do you collaborate? Okay. One of the things I notice even with early business owners is they're into I want to do all the things. Well, in the beginning, that's really hard because you go really wide and the marketing spend is pretty high. However, what I've just been learning and teaching others is stick with the one thing, partner with others, so it's very easy for them to see benefit in working with you. So again, my business coaching comes around the marketing technology side. So if you're working with a CRM, if you're working with databases, if you're trying to figure out your metrics, what's your marketing ROI, I'm the person to come to. You want somebody with a website? Not me. Okay. I know 4 other people who are really great and excellent at that. So they know that when I'm working with them, hey, I've got someone who's on board. They want to look at their marketing ROI. They need a better website. That's easy to see. Can you help them? And that's how we work together.
Okay.
Love that. It's a great equation for how to set people up for success. I think this is kind of why I talk about building the community as being a sustainable thing around you. Because if we're not doing that, if we're not saying, oh my gosh, I know I can use this, use you for this, or you for that, or you for that, you know, there are all these threads, but it's not being woven together into some sort of cohesive fabric that makes sense for people. And I think it's also a really powerful thing to be a good referral partner. I think we talk about being interesting, and I think that's really great, but it's also really powerful to have that network to offer to people. So I think that that's kind of what the last year and a half has been about for me, is like just really getting to know people and who do I want to have as my number one, number two, or number three kind of go-to spot for web design, IT, security, you know, all of that. I think it's really important to get to know people for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your focus group, you got your people there to connect with. So how you're facilitating this? Okay, say it's a virtual meeting, everyone just chatting around, or how do you keep them engaged, or what's your one of the things that we do at Don and I have a networking event that we do host the third Friday of every month. We do a little mastermind session. And we get people involved in creating. We had one where they created businesses, or one that, you know, we give them problems and that sort of thing, just to get that engagement, get the juices flowing. How would you do something like that?
Very similar. So there's a lot of times where when your market is the business owners have 100 things they got to worry about. So what I like to do is be able to present, say, hey, banking community, what are the different types of lending that is even possible? A lot of people don't realize it's more than 5. So they just think, oh, it's just a corporate loan. There's plenty more ways to get funding. So this person happens to be a CDFI. They're really great with SBA loans. This person's really good with property loans. This person's really good at finding angel investors. So I have them share, hey, for your world, how does that work? So now when I have a client who says, I need funding. Well, what type are you looking for? Oh, you need to go to National Bank of Arizona. Nope, WaFd's really good for you for this reason. Now it makes it easy for the community to know, oh, I go to this person for this one thing, and that's what they do really well.
Okay, so if you're facilitating it, you're going around there, what needs do you have? What wants do you have? I mean, what?
Yes. So same with staffing. So maybe the next session we'll talk about what hiring process do you have? Do you even have one?
So you pick a topic.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a topic, how to get funding. Base the entire event around one topic?
Right. So even though banking's there, staffing's there, other coaches are there, and I'll even bring in, again, therapists. So we as the group collaborate, but we'll talk about one thing, because everyone's going to be struggling with one of these things anyway. So it's great to hear from my own community, like, oh, okay, you're really great at this. You can help me with that. Great. So it really revolves around that. But sometimes we even need to bring in, hey, my customer had trouble with this one lawsuit. I don't have a legal team somewhere in my community yet, but guess what? Now I know I need one. Right. So I can look at growing in that aspect as well.
Okay. Have you run into anything like this on your events? Have you done anything like this? I know you're thinking outside the box on some of the events that you host at the Arizona Sands Club. So
I think that's a great example where, you know, I like to put education first, because I think that in networking, and I say that in air quotes, because sometimes people do it differently. Sometimes people come to kind of pitch to the room, right? And they're really focused on just selling to people in that room. So I think, you know, breaking down some of the things that I've seen is wrong with my experience, and like we've talked about with Michael, it's about really building those relationships. And if we're not taking time to look at that, we're sort of missing the point. So I kind of took these moments of lessons that I had learned, and decided to use them to echo back to the community, so that in a moment of teaching, we can all kind of sit down together and say, okay, you know, like we did a community community brand board, and it was a really powerful experience where we all kind of wrote down what we heard the other person saying about their brand, and then put that on a board that I actually have in my home office. So I think taking these moments of reflection and doing them as a collective is a really healing moment. And what I've learned in a lot of my trauma healing is that having the collective be able to see itself is a really powerful tool. And I think the same is with networking. networking, where it's like if you have a topic, you have a niche that the group is going to focus on, there's some sort of intention there. Because like Don said in a previous episode, you know, going to mixers can be really great, but it's kind of like a social thing where you have a drink, you might go over there and talk to a couple people, but they might not necessarily be the best for, you know, getting to know the brand and talking about all these things. So I think having something to kind of counterbalance what some of us are used to is really important. And I think what we're doing over at the Sands Club has been really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend anybody go check them out there, the Arizona Sands Club. Arizona Sands Club Business Networking, I believe is what it's called, on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, 8 to 10.
8 to 10 a.m.
There's an Eventbrite link, but if anybody, you know, would like to come, please feel free to reach out to me or anybody else who goes, and we can add you to the list.
Or also check out networkingtucson.com.
Yeah, it's all there.
All your networking needs there. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. The Tucson NetworKings podcast is in search of a full-time sponsor. Let me tell you what's included. You get 3 episodes per month, 3 commercials per episode, including logo and professional voiceover message, 1 mention on the actual podcast with some witty banter, and your business name will be added to the sponsored by title on every podcast format. If you'd like to take advantage of this awesome opportunity, contact Gordy at 520-329-2923 or TucsonNetworkKings@gmail.com. Welcome back to Tucson NetworKings podcast with Ellison Turner and Michael Jesse. You got anything left in there? We're just digging and scratching at that brain of yours there. I know you got a lot of going on in there. So you're going to still give us more information. Again, we might even have to have a part 3 on this. So
Mine and for all he's worth.
Exactly. Yes. So, you know, you talked about, you know, formatting this and going through formatting the entire networking event and having your target and having a theme. How about the referral hierarchy? I mean, how does that go into the whole mix?
So, and this is where I want everyone to understand you are part of a hierarchy in some sort of business, right? Let's look at when someone plans a wedding. Are you the venue? You're probably the first target. Wedding dress might be next. Food might be next. Flowers might be next. There's a hierarchy. And the reason why you want to understand your hierarchy for your business is you know really well who's going to bring me that referral, right? Because I'm just the next step. And then when I'm finished, who am I referring to? So your business, wherever you are or whatever you're trying to do is look at where you're at. So if I'm in the restoration, like I want to make sure like I'm the next phone call when firefighters or whoever is there that they call me. Next up might be mold restoration, might now be into how do I get construction in? Now it's interior design. Now there's the next step. And I think once you know where you are in that hierarchy, it makes it real easy to know who am I going to get referrals from and who am I sending referrals to.
Awesome. Now, a lot of your systems here, you taught, what did you do originally in your previous job? You designed systems and procedures and organization and
these
things
were
like this. Yeah.
Hedge funds. These were the container stores, manufacturing companies. And when you have, 50 departments trying to communicate, that's where systems comes into play. And again, watching the flow of information.
Yep.
So bringing this back into business, that happens.
Right.
You just need to know, okay, this department now has it. Now who's next? Okay, you got to take over. Now who's next after that? It's just the flow.
Now, a system and a flow is important. Now, I'm going to go on Ellison's lane here. How about the human side of it? How do you bond? Well, how does Michael Jesse bond with other humans to bring that into the system? Because obviously, you need to build those relationships.
It's interesting because I have
you can
learned to be
systemify it,
well,
so to speak.
True, but it's interesting when a polyglot's a fancy way of just someone who knows a lot of different things. I have developed lots of different interests, and so it makes it real easy. So even though I might be in front of a director in IT security, all I have to ask is, what's your musical instrument that you play? And now we have an interesting conversation because I know that person has played an instrument. I've played an instrument, and that's the conversation we have. Has nothing to do with the business networking.
Okay.
Now they know who I am. Now that conversation about talking about business gets a lot easier. So talk about your interests. Are you into bird watching? Are you into video games? Are
Golf.
you into... I love golf. Short game, if you can help me with that thing,
Oh, I can.
all good.
Gordy's a great teacher.
So
Short game only works every third round I play, though.
All right, well, we're all going to talk golf later, okay?
There we go.
That's it.
but that's the interesting thing is when you go into business networking, take the business part of it out first.
Okay.
And then just play into the personal. Like,
Okay.
what are your favorite shows that you like?
I like it. So you're building relationships. That I just didn't want it to get over systemized, and if that's a word, and that, forget about the human factor, because you got to have a system, obviously, but you got to also have that human, especially in this town that we're in. This little town down here, 120 miles south of that big town up there, where a lot of that can be just transactional. And I think we had a guest in here a couple episodes ago, said it needs to be transformational.
Transformational. Yes.
Transformative.
Sure. I'm making up words as we go along.
okay,
It's
we
my
got your
podcast.
back.
Don's not here. I can do whatever I want. But so great thoughts. So where are we in the steps here? I think we've had the event. Let's say it's a successful event. How about follow-up? What's your next step after that?
It's really reaching out and understanding feedback. So this is another thing. Always ask for the feedback. What did you like? What did you like? What is missing?
Okay.
Right. And that just helps you out either grow and develop. And like, you know what, like I just mentioned, why do I not have the legal group in here? That makes no sense now. So that's something I want to go back to my group and say, what people is in the legal process do we need? Is it the people who decide, is it LLC? Is it corporation? Is it the estate planners? Like, who needs to be here?
Okay. I like it. And then, but do you follow up besides survey? You're talking like surveys, digital surveys?
You could do something super simple like a Google Doc almost. Like, so Google form, keep it to 3 questions, no more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send it out. And how soon do you plan another one?
It's every month.
Every month. Okay. You recommend monthly? All right. I think we've covered the whole, from point A to point Z here. And building a successful networking event, an engaging networking event, a targeted networking event. So I like it. Do you have anything else to add?
Just notice how fast it will grow. That's the other challenge. All of a sudden you move from 10 to then 50 to then 150. Now what do you do? So that's the interesting thing.
Because you want it targeted, do you keep it closed invite? Open invite? You just leave it open? Because then you're going to go back to shotgun again, and it's going to be a lot of people that.
But this is where I want to go back to the referral hierarchy. People are going to invite people who they want to get referrals from or who they want to send referrals to. So again, I didn't start with the bankers, right? I started with staffing.
Okay.
But bankers had to show up eventually because how are you going to pay the person who you're bringing on board?
So this could build into a monster. And the bankers
absolutely.
Could need homeowners, and the homeowners could need realtors, and it could just be this giant referral hierarchy and this giant tree of networking. I love it.
And everyone then figures out, where am I in this hierarchy? I know I see a painter. I don't have a close relationship with the painter. But if I work with a commercial banker who helps build offices, who needs a painter, now I know the flow. Like, okay, I know where you're at. Let's get you connected with this other person.
Right. Okay. Awesome. There's the bell. Ding. Connect people first. Yeah. I like that. All right, Michael. Thank you so much for being on. How can people get a hold of you at the Curiosity Center?
So go to my website, curiositycenter.net, and you can actually go on there and schedule a call with me, and we'll just have a quick conversation on where you're at with your business.
Okay. You want to throw your phone number out there?
520-815-6192.
All right. Thank you very much. Ellison, it's been a pleasure over the last 3 episodes. Thank you so much for co-hosting.
And I'm an honorary king for the day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. True. Thank you again, Michael, for coming in. And that's our show for today. Stay tuned for episode 13 coming soon. Stay connected, everybody. You've just experienced the Tucson NetworKings podcast. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more great tips about networking in Southern Arizona. If you'd like to leave a question, comment, or future topic, you can email them to TucsonNetworkKings
networkingtucson@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to know more about all of the networking events happening in town, make sure and check out networkingtucson.com. That's networkingtucson.com. Know where to go.